Hello, Legionnaires, and today we're going to talk about Death Guard.
Welcome back to Chaos Legion Gaming. Today we're going to talk about the Stinky Boys.
Death Guard.
Yeah. And they have... Their detachment is the Nurgle's Rot, or Nurgle's Gift, sorry. And the Nurgle's Gift is basically you gain a contagion range, 3, 6, and 9. Each turn it increases. And anything in that contagion range basically gets a debuff that you pick for that turn.
Seems pretty good.
Yeah, I like it. I think it holds up in Index.
Especially with the new indexes dropping.
Right.
Which, by the way, speaking of indexes dropping and armies that we forgot, we totally forgot about Necrons in our video on Warhammer. So, our bad. We talk about random shit and we just get caught up and things happen.
They were asleep.
They were sleeping.
We'll get them soon, though.
We will actually. Their codex just dropped, and it was pretty cool. But anyway, getting into Death Guard, guys. So the aura ability, cool. They've got some enhancements that make their aura ability better. They've got some stuff to hit up. I think that they're a great army for new players because everything seems pretty simple, right? I mean, it's pretty short, sweet, to the point with these guys. Getting into the first unit. We've got I'm going to mess this up really bad. I forgot the fucking name. Hold on one second. Let me cheat. Biologus Putrefier.
I could have helped, but I decided not to.
You just let me just fucking eat myself. Stupid. How do you feel about this guy?
I think he stinks. No. No,
that's our only cheesy joke for the video, I promise.
I will try to do more.
I don't promise.
So, I love the grenade strat, and I love a free one even better.
Even better. Yeah, yep. I think he's definitely, not an auto-include, but definitely worth it.
Yeah.
Having the ability to just fish for 5s and 6s instead of just 6s is great. Lethal hits across the board, right?
Yeah, for sure. I think if you're running Plague Marines... he's the guy.
You're running this guy.
Yeah, because he just lets them punch up so much harder. Yeah. It's makes it a 33% chance that you're gonna auto wound.
Yeah, which is huge.
Yeah,
yeah. Especially if you're trying to hit a tank or something.
Exactly.
I mean, just shoving all that stuff in there.
It's rolling dice, but if it makes the probability better, that's a win. So the next unit we're going to talk about is the Blight Lord Terminators. Basically, their ability is reroll 1s when you shoot at the closest target.
Nice. I mean, and they have the standard Terminator profile other than that, right?
Yeah, fists and guns.
Gotcha.
And they're slow and tough.
So, I mean, you definitely take them.
They're okay.
I mean, you might take them.
I think the Death Shroud Terminators, even though they're a little more points, I think are a little better.
Gotcha. Okay.
I think a lot of old school Death Guard players were a little mad in the onset of the new rules in 10th edition because they appear on the skin to be a little less tough than they used to be because they used to have feel no pains and roll saves and all this other stuff.
Yeah.
But the way that they work now is by reducing the effectiveness of the opponent. That makes them tougher.
Gotcha.
So if you can get these guys close enough to hit your target in the contagion range, that's when all your buffs start to stack, and that's when they start to lose effectiveness, and you start to get...
Which makes more sense, right?
Yeah. Yeah, because if you're not in their stink cloud, why are you weaker?
Then we've got the Death Guard Icon Bearer. Got some cool shenanigans with him. I mean, this guy really adds to the aura, which is cool.
Oh, yeah, okay.
I mean, it's like a niche. I mean, again, he's a Plague Marine. He does Plague Marine stuff. Not really much else to say on him.
+1 OC?
Which, +1 OC is good.
Okay, it's a thing, like you said.
I mean, it depends, his point value shifts so frequently, guys. If you're watching this video and we say that it's subpar or par, it doesn't really make sense to talk about point values, in my opinion, because they shift so often. I mean, look at Custodes. They're probably getting a huge point value drop right now as we speak. So order on chaoslegiongaming.com if you want some more Golden Boys.
Get ahead of the curve.
Get ahead of the curve now.
Try to get them while they're in stock. The next thing I was going to talk about was the Death Shrouds. So those are the other Terminators. These are the bodyguard ones that I think you're talking about.
Those are the MVPs.
Yeah, so
They got flamers. Their melee's pretty good, right?
they have the flamers, which is phenomenal. Their melee is off the
Out of
charts.
this world,
They
yeah.
slap so hard.
They're like baby Mortarions.
Yeah, they really
even
are.
kind of look like fat baby Mortarions.
Fat babies are the way to go.
Fat babies.
They have the toughness thing. So if you hit them and your strength is higher than their toughness, they're -1 to wound.
Even better.
So
Right. So there's that
plus the
toughness thing you're
contagions.
talking about. Yeah. Plus the contagion.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah. These guys are annoying to remove for sure.
Then the bloat drones. Good old bloat drones. I like their movement. I love the fact that they can hold their own. They're good at killing chaff. And also they have movement to literally do like your objective secured stuff. Maybe you pull the cards. I know I was just in a tournament here at the store with my demon army, and the guy brought 2 bloat drones, and they did quite a bit of work for him. He didn't really put them up front, which I thought was interesting, but again, moving to that objective marker, or doing the teleport homer, which we love to do, which to me that's like the bane of my existence. That card, I hate that card in 10th. Cards will fuck you in 10th, I feel like.
They can for sure.
Yeah. So these guys, I think they're good. I think maybe take 1, 2 might be pushing it. What do you think?
Well, yeah, I was just talking to one of our Death Guard players, and he's debating on. He's got 300 points to burn, and trying to figure out.
Throw some bloat drones.
Yeah, we were talking about some bloat drones in
Yeah,
there.
I think it's a good pick. Yeah.
Clear, they cancel out the corner objectives. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The corner secondaries is what I'm talking about.
And you can run them with lawnmower attachments,
Yeah,
which is
that's
cool.
right. Yeah.
Yeah.
The fact that they have so many attachments is cool. I do kind of wish that they made them separate, kind of like they did with the AdMech walkers, so that way you could have 3 mowers, 3,
3 flamer guys or
Yeah.
whatever. Yeah.
The next unit is the Foul Blight Spawn, which, as an orc player, this MFer was the bane of my existence in 9th. I fucking hated this guy.
MFer.
Yes.
What is that? What does that stand for?
It happens sometimes.
Fair enough.
So what he used to do was make you strike last. But now what he does is make you strike first. Makes his stuff strike first.
Oh.
So even if you charge them, they're in the list. They're in the running. They get to fight.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and it's cool if you're not an orc player.
If you're not really. And we all know that Daryl does love his orcs, guys.
Yeah, they're my first love. I have a little bit of love for everybody, but the orcs are my first and only.
Next, we're going to talk about the Lord of Contagion, a unit that really shined in 9th edition. And I think it kind of carries over in 10th.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
it's really good. I mean,
if you're looking for a beat stick.
Yeah, he's badass. Great melee profile.
Yeah.
Again, he's kind of like a Death Shroud. He's another.
I think him in the Death Round.
Yep. He's another baby
Money.
Mortarion, fat baby Mortarion.
Yeah, like,
Yeah.
so for me, the Death Shroud, I would play them offensively. Like, put them out there to get rid of your biggest threat.
And they deep strike
And exactly.
because they're Terminators technically. So
Yeah, so Death Shroud with him, and send him after I'd send him after Angron, send him after whatever. They'll. I saw him kill Angron twice yesterday, actually.
Jesus. And then Angron dies.
Yeah,
Which is
yeah,
great.
He does.
And then he comes back.
Yeah.
Because Angron's here and Angron's back.
I don't roll 6s that well, but for some people, he comes back.
In the game I played, Angron came back, and it was fucked.
Next is the Lord of Virulence. He's another Terminator armor guy. He buffs shooting, so he's probably better with the... Well, he's good with the Death Shroud, too, because he makes their flamers re-roll the wound, which is phenomenal.
Which is good, yeah.
He's also an interesting choice in a Plague Burst Crawler list, because he allows models that he can see, enemies that he can see, ignore cover against them.
Oh, so like Torrent, basically. Free Torrent?
He gives that to to his army. So like he can make the Plague Burst Crawls, because they're indirect, ignore those penalties.
Which is great.
Yeah, it's totally.
So you're
great.
adding more value. So maybe keep him in the back line with the Plague Burst Crawlers, and he just won't die. And then his melee profile is still pretty decent.
Yeah, and so if someone deep strikes after your...
It's like, great, now deal with a fucking Terminator.
Yeah, exactly.
Again.
Again.
like, are you noticing the trend, guys? We have Terminators, and we have more Terminators. All fat babies.
Heard you liked fat baby Terminators.
The next guy is the Malignant Plaguecaster.
Not seeing much play right now.
Yeah, he really doesn't see much play. He kind of is... He used to be amazing. And now nobody's running him because Magic, in my opinion, and I love Tzeentch and I love Magic, Magic kind of took a hit, but it needed to because in 9th edition it was crippling. It was terrible.
You had to bring something.
It was so oppressive. And like Mortal Wounds were just everywhere, which I actually like the changes they made, and that's coming from me. So,
Hey. I think, the fact that Psychers are still there, they're a thing, but they're not game breaking.
Right.
Which is cool. So the next item on the list is the Malignant... Nope, I fucked that up. The Miasmic Malignifier. That's a tongue tire.
And what does that do?
Well, it's in my auto no-take list. If that helps.
It's also sold at Chaos Legion.
Yeah, so get 2.
That is it. That is what it does. That's what it do.
It's a building.
Yep.
It stinks, literally.
Shit.
It has a thing that
Yep.
says it's got a noxious stink. So if you're into that.
And it actually shits the bed.
Yeah,
it has special ability, shit bed.
It provides cover, which
fucking huge.
all ruins
12 wounds.
do that. Except most ruins, the other ruins that you can't they can't be targeted. This you can blow it up.
If you order this, we will fulfill the order, but we will frown upon you as a customer indefinitely.
We will judge you.
Next up, the man, the myth, the legend, Mortarion. Again, who doesn't take a Primarch when you have access to a Primarch, unless you are a 9th edition player with Thousand Suns. Yeah.
Unless you're into the nipple horns.
And we pay for those. So, again, guys, Mortarion, really good. Hits really hard. Pretty tough.
Buffs the stuff around him.
Yeah, just great. Just a great model. Take him.
Yeah.
Take him, use him. He's a good centerpiece as well. Put him next to your computer at night.
Have him watch over you while you sleep.
Yeah, he may smell like shit, but and his fat babies. You got to take his fat babies.
That's fair. Speaking of his fat babies, we'll talk about Typhus. Typhus is basically
another fat baby.
It's another Terminator.
Yep.
He can go
Surprise.
with any of the Terminators, and surprisingly, he can go with Poxwalkers. Some say that's a downside. I don't know. It's an option. Yeah. He's -1 to hit, makes his unit -1 to hit, which is cool.
That's good.
Keeps him adds to his toughness. Again, we're talking about unorthodox ways to gain toughness. That's what this army does.
Right.
And then he's got a mortal wound psychic power thing.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Tallyman, guys, Tallyman, take one. Real good. He gives you CP. Pretty much take it.
I never have enough CP.
Yeah, exactly. So you take a Tallyman.
Plague Surgeon brings back Plague Marines. If you're running Plague Marines, run Plague Surgeon.
Yeah. I mean, he's kind of in a limbo right now. I don't see too many people running him. But again, it might just be because people are running a different breed.
I think they're in transition.
Are they?
Yeah, I think more people are starting to run Plague Marines.
Because I know in 9th edition, Plague Marines didn't get played at all.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, it was just like
till the end.
Take a shit ton of Poxwalkers.
Right.
They're obnoxious.
Yeah.
Take Typhus. Take a Lord of Contagion.
Yeah, now I think you're going to see a lot more Plague Marine spam.
Speaking of Plague Marines, we already kind of went over it, but Plague Marine spam, real good.
Yeah, they punch up. They have lethal.
Which is great.
Play on that. Try to get as many lethal as possible.
Plague Burst Crawlers.
They're good. I think
we want to see 2 of these, right?
2 or more.
Two or more. Yeah.
1 is just not enough to get a job done, in my opinion.
Yeah. And they've got that combo that we talked about.
With the Virulent Lord or Morty.
Morty
makes them shoot better too, so that's cool.
And then there is another combo, I feel like, with the Mythic Blight Haulers.
Okay.
So, you add 1 to wound for the vehicles around them. So what I would do is I'd take the Plague Burst Crawlers, and I would then keep these guys in the back for when your opponent deep strikes in. And then basically it's like, hey, guess what? I've got range on you. And they're getting that 1 to wound, which is nice.
They also have a mid-range anti-vehicle profile.
They're very mid-rangey.
Yeah.
So maybe you run them off the board too.
They're fast. You can adjust.
Yeah. They're kind of flexible. I'd say they're worth the take.
Yeah. Then you got Poxwalkers, which basically they're chaff troops. They die a little harder than, like, say, guardsmen, but they're not anything to write home about. I mean, I guess they have sticky objectives. Everything
which
in
is good.
The army has sticky, so you can use them to kind of be annoying.
There's a way to make them work with Typhus, but I mean, honestly, we don't see too many people playing that.
Yeah, I think that was early on.
Yeah, and I think people are learning. And then the last thing is, the noxious Blightbringer.
Yeah, kind of sad.
Yeah, he saw some play in 9th, and then kind of just dropped off, fizzled out. And that's pretty much it for Death Guard.
Yeah, that's all the Death Guard specific units and kind of how they work.
Guys, and I think that wraps us up for Death Guard. If you like this video, like and subscribe. And as always, you can purchase all the stuff that we talked about on chaos-legion.com. And next time we're going to talk about
whatever we want to
whatever the fuck we want.